What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I will be reviewing Short Term 12. So Short Term 12 was directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, and it stars Brie Larson, John Gallagher Jr., and Rami Malek. No, I'm not kidding. Great cast. And it tells the story of Grace, who is a young counselor at a California care facility for teens dealing with abuse, past trauma, depression, suicidal thoughts, those kinds of things. And essentially, this film is about Grace, dealing with a lot of the situations going on with this facility, a lot of her own personal demons as well as trying to help particularly one new kid who checks into this institution. Problems arise, and I'm not really gonna say much more because I don't want to ruin anything. It actually is kind of a hard film to, say what it's about, because it is a very, clear premise, but when you actually try to say it in words, it's kind of difficult. Now, I am going to say that I am a fan of Destin Daniel Cretton's work, even though the only other film of his that I've seen is Just Mercy. But as you know, I gave that film an A+, and also I have a review for that film on my channel too, plug. And up until recently, I actually wasn't aware of any other movies in his filmography. But then a viewer of mine would not stop recommending Short Term 12. He was like, dude, it's from the same guy who did Just Mercy. It's fantastic. You have to watch it. You're going to love it. You need to watch Short Term 12. And I was like, I'll eventually do it. Don't worry. I just got a lot of other things to watch right now. He was like, no, shut up. You need to watch Short Term 12. And if you saw the most recent episode of Zabe's Live that I did, episode 9, that was about 2 weeks ago now, I think, I actually bought the Blu-ray for Short Term 12 on stream. I literally went on my phone and purchased it from Amazon, and I even showed the camera. I was like, look, I'm buying it. Swipe to place your order, and I placed the order. Normally, I don't do that with films that I haven't seen. Normally, I don't buy, a Blu-ray of a movie that I've never seen. Normally, if I've seen a movie and I end up loving it, then I buy the Blu-ray. You know, that kind of thing. Or even if I just mildly enjoy it, because I'm a big collector person. But Short Term 12, I'd never seen Short Term 12. And I bought it because I was confident that I was going to love it as much as he was saying that I would love it. So now that I've actually seen Short Term 12, and if you're watching this video, get ready. What can I say about it? It was okay. I don't know, man. I mean, I get why you love it, and I get why you thought that I would love it, but I don't know. I'm not gonna, get a refund on the Blu-ray. I'm happy to have it. But I don't know. I didn't find the film that good. Yeah, and I mean, I know that's probably disappointing for you, but, I don't know, man. I didn't think it was that good of a movie. Gotcha. This movie was amazing. This movie is perfect. It is flawless. There's not a single thing wrong with it. The performances, oh my god. Brie Larson is incredible in this film. John Gallagher Jr., I've always been a fan of him. He gives his best performance ever in this film, even though I do also love him in 10 Cloverfield Lane. The writing and the cinematography, and the budget was so low, they had less than $1 million, but somehow, visually, this film is still stunning. Emotionally, it crushed me. It was able to really bring out the tears, but also lift my spirits up to levels that they've never been lifted before. This movie was perfect. Yes, I love this movie so much. Oh my god, I love this movie. This actually might be better than Just Mercy, and I know, a lot of people might be like, what are you trying to say? We're not getting political. This has nothing to do with politics. Just Mercy is a fantastic film, and I love it. But Short Term 12, I don't know what it was, but I think this is just the movie that I needed. At this point in my life, a lot of the things that are happening, this just felt like the movie that I needed to watch, and I didn't even know it. Okay, now that this movie was just great. I mean, you can tell I got very animated there, but that's what I do. When I love a movie that much, I want to show you guys how I'm feeling on the inside. I'm not just gonna suppress, all that, melodramatic excitement that I have. I want to show that to you guys, because hopefully it'll get you excited to see the movie if you've never seen it. But okay, let's not be so loud right now. I'm glad I'm home alone. So yeah, as I said, the performances, holy crap. This is Brie Larson's best work that she has ever done. Ever. And same with John Gallagher Jr. These two give such powerful, subtle performances. Subtlety is the key aspect. Look at any performance in any movie that's hailed as one of the best performances of all time, watch that movie, analyze that performance, and you will find that a big factor of it is subtlety. Don't get me wrong, I can love melodrama in a certain context. I can love a really big performance and, the really melodramatic, you know what I'm talking about. But there's just something about subtlety that just feels so much more real and just relatable, and that's one of the biggest things that I loved about this movie. It feels real. I said the same thing about Just Mercy, but there are still many moments through Just Mercy, and this is not a knock at Just Mercy. This is actually positive for Just Mercy. I said in that review that a directorial style is still very present. With Short Term 12, you can tell that it was directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. It is very much that same type of style of directing, but I think that style of directing makes this story feel much more real than Just Mercy's story, even though this film is fictional and Just Mercy is a true story. It's kind of a cool flip side of the coin. I mean, the under $1 million budget probably also has something to do with it, but surprisingly, this looks like it cost a lot more. Another thing is, while this film is dealing with some very dark and possibly depressing subject matter, it does manage to maintain a certain level of levity all the way up until the end. It's perfectly balanced. In fact, that's something Destin Daniel Cretton is actually very good at. It was the same with Just Mercy. There was some very dark and depressing subject matter in that movie, but he was able to maintain levity and know exactly where to put it so that it didn't feel out of place. And he's done the same thing with Short Term 12, which also harkens back to the writing. As I said, this film is brilliantly written. I'm talking about how it feels realistic, not just visually. The writing in here, it just feels real. I don't mean real as in the emotion, although yeah, that's there too. I mean real as in literally, just real. Any emotional conversation you've had with someone, it probably wasn't a big grand melodramatic, tear-filled thing. It was probably very quiet, very subtle, and very somber, with very extreme emotions being suppressed. That's normally what a lot of really emotional conversations are like in real life, and that's how they are in this movie. Sometimes conversations like that don't reach a conclusion. Sometimes there isn't a definitive, those conversations end oftentimes without clarity. And that's an aspect of it that makes it that much more powerful. The film is also very unpredictable, and a lot of this does have to really go to the writing and the story structure. So those of you who have seen it, which I feel like hardly any of you have, by the time it gets to the finale, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. I was like, whoa, what? I didn't know what was going to happen. It was I was just so invested in this movie and intrigued, and I cared about the characters so much because all of these characters are flawed people, which is exactly how real life is. No one is perfect. It's that, saying as old as time, no one is perfect, but you see it in this movie. You see all the flaws of each of these characters, all the struggles that they are dealing with and demons that they have to overcome. There's some very, very well portrayed hypocrisy in this movie that doesn't make you hate the hypocrite. It justifies all these characters' viewpoints and worldviews beautifully. And that's actually a very good message. I feel like that's something a lot of people need to think about more often. And even though this film came out 8 years ago now? Yeah, it came out in 2013. 8 years ago, roughly. I'm still going to say that this is the movie we need right now. I said the same thing in my Soul review about Soul, and I do stand by that mostly, but I feel like if you haven't seen Short Term 12, you just gotta watch it. It's just so powerful. It'll break your heart, but it'll also lift your spirits. And it's just it's so uplifting, but so heartbreaking at the same time. But I do stand by the fact, you gotta watch this movie. After this year we just had and this year that we're going into, you gotta watch it. This is the film that everyone needs right now. I really enjoyed the dynamic between Brie Larson and the new girl who is coming to Short Term 12. That's the name of the facility, Short Term 12. I really enjoyed their dynamic, and the things about them that are very different, and then the things about them that are surprisingly similar, especially when it comes to this young girl's current home life and Brie Larson's home life, when she was a little girl. And so they were able to kind of bond with that and push their differences aside, which again is also very good message. Put your differences aside. You know, find things that you can actually, like, connect with each other on and just flourish, thrive in those aspects of yourselves. Just do that, put differences aside. There would be much less conflict. And I feel like in the hands of a different director or a different screenwriter, the final 20 minutes of this movie, in the hands of someone else, would have been made to feel very, like, over the top, and it well, not would have been made to feel that way, but it would have felt very over the top and far-fetched. It's like, okay, I mean, you lost me there. I just don't know if that would happen. But in the hands of Destin Daniel Cretton, and I don't know if he wrote this movie or not. I'm assuming he did, because it is an indie film. I'm assuming he wrote this film as well as directed it. That's the case with a lot of indie movies. That wasn't the case at all. I very much was like, I completely believe everything that's happening on screen right now. I completely believe that character, because of how well you wrote her, I completely believe that she would do that. I completely believe this situation right now. It's not losing me. And yeah, that finale is truly great. It's a very emotionally satisfying movie. Like, at the end, I just felt so, like, just satisfied. I was like, that was just great. You know, like, that was just delightful, despite, you know, how dark it gets at certain moments. Like, when it all wraps up, there's no loose ends, you know? I felt very much just like, that was just like a perfectly knitted narrative. I also felt like just going to every single person I care about and just be like, thank you for being here and being alive. Like, I love you, everything you do, just thank you so much. This film could have easily been a melodramatic, cringy, teenage angst movie, you know, about all these kids, but it's not. And I'm really happy that it's not, because these are real things that real teenagers deal with. I have friends that deal with a lot of these things, and I myself do deal with anxiety from time to time. So, like, these are very real things, you know? And if this film had treated it like this, if this film had made it be cringy and, like, not buying into it, that would have been offensive. Like, but it's not. It's not, because it was in the hands of Destin Daniel Cretton, and he's obviously, I don't really know much about this guy, but I would assume he's had much experience with this. So, in the hands of someone who knows it, you know, he was able to make it feel completely authentic to how these situations actually play out in real life. So yeah, Short Term 12, so happy I have this Blu-ray now. Thank you so much for recommending it to me, man. You know who you are. Thank you so much. And this definitely, if Just Mercy didn't solidify this, now I am definitely like a hardcore fan of Destin Daniel Cretton. Let's grade this thing. I'm going to give Short Term 12 an A+. So guys, Short Term 12, have you seen it? You probably haven't. So fix that, watch it now, you won't regret it. You all need this movie. I don't care who you are. I'm gonna look you right in the eyes right now. You need this movie. Watch it. It's free on Amazon Prime right now. Watch it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. It really does mean a lot. I'll see you in the next video, and until then, keep writing, keep shooting, and keep editing.